Today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox is brought to you by Gulfstream Park.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim fram sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on.
Hey, good afternoon and happy New Year, everybody. I think today is the last day we're officially allowed to
No,
say
it's only
it.
the third. I do it for like 2
It's the
weeks.
third to 2 weeks. I don't know. We have this discussion every year.
We do.
Let me get us loaded up onto the Let's Eat South
I
Florida
thought we
group.
could say it until the Chinese New Year.
When's
That would be all the way to January
30th.
29th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's allowed. Defo, do you have any feelings and thoughts on what is the last acceptable day that you could
Oh, about
wish
the Happy
somebody
New Year?
Happy New Year?
Well, I'll say this, a couple of observations from the Walk of Life today. Resolutions have definitely kicked in, and they're still in effect
Okay.
because Briney Avenue was packed with new walkers. You can always tell the new guys on the circuit where they have like really white legs, and then they got some CrossFit sneakers for Christmas, like usually Day Glow yellow. And they stand out, right? And then here's the good thing, though, guys. I mean, think about this. And I don't know. You probably can relate to this more than Louie and the professor, being up there in years a little bit. Anyway, only 500 years to go, and we can forget about freaking Zager and Evans and that stupid song in the year 2525. So we're only 500 years away from
There you go.
that being in the past. Those are my two things, observations for the new year. How are you, Mike Mayo?
I'm good.
You look
fresh.
good. You look good.
Well, I'm rested. We had a nice week off. We were actually doing a little bit on Monday, and then we did some of our encore editions, and it was nice to see that.
That looked like
People's-
quite the feast. I happened to get a peek at this thing you were doing on Monday.
Oh,
What,
that guy was
what a
fantastic.
license to
Crazy.
steal this show is, Mayo. Have you resolved that yet
People-
with your inner sanctum there?
I ask for nothing. All I do is show up, and then it seems like there's this competition of can you top this, the previous restaurants and all that.
It's
And
incredible.
they set the bar high. I thought last week I was doing my reset. And
Here's to
actually,
you guys, by
and
the
I
way.
spent-
we should have a New Year's
Here.
salute
Yes.
to the
Happy
people
New Year
who
to
like
all.
watch this thing.
Here's a prosperous, healthy, happy 2025 to
Yes.
everybody. We're a quarter of the way through this century,
Wow.
and numbers.
Remember
are
when you were
blinking.
Y2K? Where were you on New Year's Eve? I actually was in Vegas that night.
Okay,
Yeah. What about you?
I was
You
in
remember?
New Orleans, which
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately
Yeah, that
had
was
some
sad.
horrible tragedy. That terrorist attack.
Yeah, you know what's weird
on-
about
on-
that? I had a little premonition about that, which I'm almost afraid to admit to, because after the thing happened in Germany, I was thinking, you know what place in America would be likely to have something like this happen? I thought Bourbon Street,
Yeah.
and then sure enough, and I've been on Bourbon Street
Yeah,
probably
many times.
2, maybe 3 times on New Year's Eve, at least 2 that I know of for Sugar Bowl games, and wow, I mean,
Yeah.
just absolutely horrific, and we're still at the stage where we shrug our shoulders and go, oh well, only 15 dead.
Well, this
Which
one
is really tragic, yeah.
It wasn't gun violence. It was, obviously
Truck
a terrorist act with somebody using a truck as a weapon, and there's really no way you guard against that. I mean,
I'm
they're
looking at
supposed
truck
to-
control.
yeah, truck
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
I'm
They
happy
used to
follow-
have those barriers there. They've been talking about that.
They were
took them out,
replacing them for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl with other ones, and apparently there was a police car parked blocking,
but it didn't block the
but
sidewalk.
the guy was
Yeah.
able to go around it. That's
Wow,
the problem
terrific,
if you don't
terrific.
have the complete, it's what's known as a soft target. It's not a high profile event where you have to go through the metal detectors. It's just a normal
People in New
place
Orleans
where
are
people congregate.
generally
It's-
trusting. I mean,
New Orleans, are
they're
you
there to
kidding?
party. It's 3 a.m. for
Yeah,
God's sake.
no,
Sugar
Yeah.
Bowl. You guys have been involved in Sugar
I've
Bowl.
been,
Yeah.
and that's where I was for year 2K when it was 99 going into 2000. I was there for a Sugar Bowl that involved, I believe it was Florida State and
What?
Virginia Tech for a
Oh,
national
the
yeah,
championship
wow.
game.
How'd
Wow.
you weasel your way into that
Was it
trip?
I was a premier
No
columnist.
local teams. You just picked your
no,
spot.
Florida State was considered a local team
Florida
at that
State's like
point.
local.
All
To a
3
degree,
state
yeah.
schools were considered. We covered
And he was
them.
the same age as Chris Winkie when he quarterbacked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
probably were.
Yeah, but I
You were
remember
in your 40s, just like
He
Chris.
was like 29.
Hyde came in for the game himself, but I was there doing all the pregame festivities with Florida State because I think the Dolphins were playing the Redskins that Sunday. But all I know is on New Year's Eve, I went to Brightson's restaurant, which is one of our friend
it's
Joe
one of the classic
Cassell's
restaurants.
Oh, he loves that
favorite
place,
restaurant.
yeah.
Frank Brightson, just a brilliant, accomplished chef and the most humble guy in the world. He has this beautiful restaurant. It's in an old river house right on the bend of the river in New Orleans. So I went there for an early dinner, and then I was hiding under the bed at the stroke of midnight because in New Orleans the thing was, as Ibis the hurricane, the mascot, knew,
Oh yeah,
they
the
would
guy
shoot
shot a gun in the air.
bullets
Yeah,
up
he got
into
hit.
the air,
John
and he
Roof.
got grazed with a bullet. So
Yes,
in New Orleans, that was
I was
one
out
of
on the
their-
streets that night, and I saw him that night.
Yeah,
I remember that.
What should happen to all mascots?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Kent does not like mascots.
No,
No, but this
particularly
was
the
a
big
truly
fuzzy
good guy.
ones.
I mean, he became Billy the
No,
Marlin.
he was good.
and,
I know he
he
was
was a
And
really
he got
good guy.
almost he almost got killed. And speaking of those bullets in the air, I'm still afraid to go out around midnight or the hour after, because even down here, people shoot guns in the air to celebrate, not thinking that, hey, the bullet's going to land somewhere and it could go right through somebody.
Lauderdale by the Sea
it
was like the DMZ, man, in Vietnam. The fireworks were insane going
Right.
off.
But
Where do
did
these
you-
people get this
But
stuff
did
from?
you
man?
see there were two horrific tragedies involving bullets fired
Yeah,
on New Year's Eve? One killed a 10-year-old girl in Miami,
Oh God.
terrible.
and
yeah.
one
People still
killed
do that on Miami.
a guy up near in Fort Lauderdale in the Middle River neighborhood, and apparently it was a shot from Wilton Manors that somebody, it was like across the
Wait a
way,
second.
and it
A shot from Wilton Manors
yes,
killed somebody in Middle River.
Yeah.
which is about 3 blocks away. It was on the other side, and they don't know who did it, but it was a guy who went to see his boyfriend at the stroke of midnight. They stepped outside by the pool deck, and then the guy crumpled in his boyfriend's arms.
But what I'm saying is, ballistically speaking,
yes,
that it had to be a straight shot to kill someone 3 blocks. You're not shooting it up in a
I
huge
don't know.
parabola.
I don't know the
Doing the
particulars.
ballistics.
It's kind of like the thing that if you drop the quarter off the Empire State
Doesn't
Building
kill someone.
and it
Right,
hits
yeah,
some
yeah.
guy in the head, that's I think the principle
The
there.
point being
Yeah.
that guns and New Year's Eve
No, that's a horrible idea.
is a horrible thing, and I like the
Is there actually a good occasion to go shoot your
No.
gun?
No,
up in
Yeah,
the
is there
air?
ever a time where you want to shoot a gun up in
Wild
the air
West.
while there's a crowd around?
the Wild West.
I'm gonna say on the Washington
Mike
Mall during
Mayo.
the inauguration
In the-
on January
Starring in
2nd.
Gunsmoke. Yeah.
Okay.
That's you want the.
All right, we got to get on to
Secret Service here by the
happier
end of the
things,
show?
Mayo. Let's
All right,
transition
Let's
into
go to
something good here.
happier
Yeah,
things,
come
'cause,
on.
we are here.
2025, we
This
made
is
it.
my Friday fun day place, and then we stumbled into the
Well,
rabbit hole of
you got
New Year's
going on
Eve's
that, and
passed.
maybe properly so. I
Yeah.
don't think
well, we just
you,
want to
you can't
express.
state it enough. And I love New Orleans like all you guys do. I mean, just fantastic times there. Go there by
America's
choice
best
all
food
the
city?
time. Yeah.
It's
in
one
the
of the
top
top five,
Top
and
five.
and in terms of
Where,
this
where would be
tragedy,
better?
this tragedy
people do
unfolded
New
right
York,
on
San
the
Francisco,
block that you love.
Chicago.
Oh yeah, with Acme and
Felix's and
Felix's.
Acme
Yeah.
Oyster Houses dueling across
Well,
the
and
street.
of course, I'm looking for the lucky dog cart, hoping that guy survived or whatever. But unbelievable. But
Terrible.
I did have a weird premonition about that something like that was going to happen here, and at Bourbon Street. I don't know if it was a dream or whatever I woke up from, but very scary to see that that actually happened.
Have they decided the thing at the Trump Hotel Vegas was that supposedly
Seemed
terrorism as opposed
unconnected.
to a
Yeah.
Cybertruck just
Yeah.
blew up?
said
Yeah, with
it,
terrorism.
it was an unrelated
Yeah.
incident
Right.
with the lone wolf. Both of these incidents, by the way,
But here's
not
my point.
foreigners, Army
Americans,
people,
Here's my
Army
point.
veterans.
Very symbolic,
US
though, this
born.
guy. I mean, he blows his brains out, then he blows up a Tesla in front of the Trump Hotel.
But here's the- if
What kind
you
of statement was
want
that?
to have a terrorist attack that has no victims,
Oh Jesus.
the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas is
Yeah.
the perfect
No.
place.
That was it.
Oh,
yeah.
The
no.
place where nobody
If
ever
you were going to go
stays.
terrorist,
I'm
Mayo,
gonna
on
go-
Let's Eat
Oh,
South
my
Florida.
Let's
God.
pivot to something
Yeah.
more
But it wasn't
jovial.
How are the
political.
meatballs
Like,
at
it
that
doesn't have
place?
a-
No, it's
388.
just graphic.
Mayo,
It
man.
doesn't have a casino and it's a dump. If you wanted a victimless terrorist attack, that is the ideal location.
Professor usually has a different perspective on things. You have
Joe
to understand
Beja
that, yeah.
sends his regrets, and we do miss Joe.
Oh, he's not coming? What?
He's helping his mom move from Tampa down back here to South Florida. And Joe's great.
That's
'cause
a good move.
Yeah, you know what's great about Joe
That's a high
Beja, too?
quality move.
He's
right
great
there,
on
getting the hell
social
out of
media.
Tampa.
Have you picked up a little Joe
Yeah, he's all
Beja
over
on social
Facebook.
media?
He's classic on
He's
Facebook.
posting stuff all the time. It's hysterical.
He's
It's great.
posting great stuff
Yeah.
about his mom, his daughter, his life, his travels. And I got to give him props because Tuesday night they did something new. Right here at Ten Palms, they had a New Year's Eve buffet.
Oh, yeah.
and it was a
Did you go?
resounding success. I
Yeah.
didn't go.
What do you mean?
Because on New Year's Eve, I hide under the bed. And actually, Val and I
There
we
was a
just-
freebie opportunity at Gulfstream Park,
No,
and you
actually,
passed.
and here's the thing. Joe said it was really successful. Almost 600 people
Oh,
came
nice.
out.
Nice.
They did a nice revenue with the bar. They have a cash bar and then
People
the
were
buffet.
drinking?
People were drinking, people were dancing, people were having a good time right up until past the stroke of midnight.
Nobody
And then-
got shot.
But
There's
then,
no
yeah,
shootings.
nobody got shot. Thank you, Ken. And then on Wednesday, they had live racing here, and they also did their usual Sunday brunch buffet on Wednesday for
Okay.
New Year's Day. That one
That's
I
when you were
did come
here.
out with my daughter, and here's the upset of 2025 so far.
She loved it.
Not only did I not ask for any freebies or even
No,
discounts,
you
No,
didn't
you
pay.
paid.
I actually
No.
paid full freight.
For both
And
of
it
you?
was
Wait a minute,
worth
Lubie, can we? There should be an investigation
Not only
here.
was it worth it,
I want to see a receipt.
the
Mayo.
gambling gods smiled upon
Oh,
me
you won money?
because
Yeah.
me and my daughter was my lucky charm. We cashed tickets 4 races in a row. The first 4 races.
Do you have Luca
And
Panici?
we walked out of here after the 5th race when we finally lost a little bit, but I cleared over $200
Oh,
profit.
okay.
After
That's
the
a nice-
after the meal.
So you
That
broke
paid
even.
for the meal.
Oh,
So
okay.
you
So
know,
you broke
when,
even.
when all was said
Did
and
you leave
done,
a tip?
of course, I left a
Did you
very nice.
calculate it to
Well-
18%? What did you do?
18%.
Well, when this is something
Did you
I
shave a
learned.
percentage
Did
point?
people
When,
do
when you
18%?
come out here for the
Oh my
buffet, they
God.
automatically add a 20% gratuity.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
not enough though.
And then I
Yeah,
left
yeah,
a little bit more
yeah.
cash.
You got
on
to
top
shoot
of it for
another
our
20.
guy.
No, I mean,
And yes, of course,
Okay.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
And my
You
guy
schmears.
saw.
you're not bad like that, Mayo. You know, for all the things we say about you, and Louie and I have made some observations, not particularly flattering over the years, but you are good about that.
I like
Yeah.
to think of myself as a generous individual, and I like to treat people well, particularly those in the service industry who are working on holidays.
Agreed.
And I'm not going on
100%.
to Let's Eat South Florida and
Nah.
bitching that, oh, it took me 10 minutes to find my waiter to get a refill of my coffee because it's crowded and everybody is.
Those things don't really carry a lot of weight anymore, do they? I mean, the site's
They-
been up for how long?
They start
The page.
chirping at each other.
There,
Yeah.
there are some people who still don't like it.
who don't
Yeah.
like the page.
No, who don't like the.
I mean, if you
slow
got to wait
service
2
thing.
seconds for water,
Even if you're
that's it. I'm
on New
walking
Year's
out.
Eve.
New
Yeah,
Year's,
I'm
like,
walking
If
out.
you order properly and make sure you always have a
You're not
drink in
drinking that
front of you.
fast enough. I mean, I already consumed one of these wines. But
No, I'm just saying there are people in the
the
business.
professor's working good on that beer.
There are people in the business that you could serve them a plate of slop
Yeah.
from the dumpster and back, but if they get their butt kissed properly by the staff, that is a good experience for them.
Yeah.
There are plenty
Yeah,
of people.
People want
All
acknowledgement.
they want is the butt kissing from the staff. They don't care if the food is
It's
garbage.
not even
Yeah.
butt kissing. It's more a line of just being
The,
acknowledged.
the weirdest thing
having
about being a
people
server.
Smile. Yep.
Oh no, I was going to say the weirdest thing about being a server, and I remember this guy distinctly. He was an actor, and he was in some stuff. I was working at this restaurant in L.A. on the Sunset
Are we
Strip, the
supposed to
Source.
guess the actor?
No,
Okay.
I can't remember his name. I saw him in some things, but he always had a script in front of him. This was very common in L.A. to sit at an outdoor restaurant reading a script as if you were in demand.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Okay,
Like
So,
being in
and
Starbucks
this guy,
and pretending
I mean-
you're writing your novel.
as a guy to serve was a complete schmuck. Okay, and I treated him with the utmost respect, but he always he gave me a tip that would be insulting by any standard, but he thought it was great.
Oh, God.
So I had to act like it was, like really good. And, there were people like that. They just, I don't know.
It was
Mayo
George
man, I mean-
Papard.
Did they think?
Yeah, I mean, where you're like, the server hates you.
Did he think it was great because he came from like a poor background?
Yeah.
I
and
don't know.
thinks
I
that
mean, he was
actually a
tipping
good
like
tip?
under 10%. I mean,
Oh,
it was him and
And
Kareem
was he
Abdul-Jabbar, the two
really-
worst tippers I
Was
ever
he really
dealt with.
famous and thought that just his
No,
mere
no.
presence was
Yeah.
enough, and then you
Maybe, I don't know. I
cash
didn't psychoanalyze the
remuneration.
guy. I just knew him as a cheapskate, and I always hoped he got somebody else's table.
All right.
Bruce Lee.
Because he would sit there for
Bruce Lee.
hours. I mean, think about that. You're
I don't have
pretending
to
to read a
guess.
script, trying to be discovered like you were Lana Turner.
You said OJ was a notoriously cheap
OJ,
tipper,
we
too.
had to
You
chase
can
out
say
to the
that
parking
now
lot.
because it's not going to come hunt you down because he's gone.
I don't think he ever really took offense to it.
We
I
sure
mean, he
didn't
had other
fake his
things
death?
on his mind. Yeah.
Fake as
No, but I mean, to chase OJ down, he tipped us $5 on, I don't know, back then the checks, like $100 was a big check for a few people,
Right.
And, very, very negative tip. We couldn't afford it because we didn't do that many tables. There wasn't like tremendous turnover in this place. So, you needed like everybody to come through. And we chased him out to the parking lot, asked him. I remember my
Oh,
friend.
you do. You did go.
We went to
you
the
had a-
valet parking. He was waiting for his Bentley. And my friend Spencer, who was an older waiter and, very subtle about everything and usually never complained about, even the biggest of stiffs. And he went to OJ and he says, OJ, how was the service tonight? And OJ goes, oh, you guys were great, man. The best I've ever seen. He had the big teeth and
Right.
everything. And then Spencer opens his hand and he's got this crumpled up $5 in there.
Oh, no.
And he looks at him and he goes, I I don't know if you realize we were a little insulted by this.
Oh, you can't say that. You got to let
Well,
the guy
obviously,
take the tip.
It was embarrassing.
Was it a fireable offense, or did it get back to management?
No. This guy was a great waiter. He couldn't have been any better.
Okay, because I think I
but
told.
I mean, it really was. I mean, it was one of these
Well,
things
it's
where you.
insulting, but there's a way, and I think I've told this story about how my father, when he was in dental school, used to work up in the Catskill Mountains as a waiter, and you would have
the
a
Catskills
group
could be
for a
brutal,
whole
yeah.
week. And basically the way it ran then is, the meals were inclusive in the resort fee and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end of the week, though, people,
They had to throw you something.
they would leave $10 usually back in those days for a week's
That was
worth of
big money back then,
$5 or $7. Some people are very generous, and it would be $20. But usually $10 per person was the
All right.
standard tip to a
In the
group that was
Catskills.
staying there in the Catskills.
What year was
usually
this? 70s?
1952.
Oh,
Oh,
50.
good.
50.
50.
$10
That's a
was
nice. That's a
1,000.
nice
I mean,
tip.
No, $10 is what he expected. Again, you
Sure.
remember it's 3 meals a day for 5-6 days.
Oh, you're talking
so
about at the end of your stay.
end of the week, you
strip
give the guy
yeah.
a $10
Stoop
bill.
the guy. Brought you the
$10
beats.
$10
They
per
weren't even
person
serving that day.
was what they considered the
That's
acceptable
a nice tip.
standard.
I'm
All
back
right.
in the 50s.
So my dad had the, I guess, the honor, pleasure, and misfortune of serving a couple from Montreal, and not that we want to cast any aspersions on.
Well,
them.
why
It's
not?
just
Just go ahead and
reality.
throw
Well,
it
the
out there.
reality is
It's
in
just reality.
Canada, tip is included usually in this
Well,
time.
they make a living wage, so they.
But
don't
Ken, if
think
a
about
guy
tip.
pulls up to the foundry with Canadian plates, are you allowed to automatically put 20% on a check? Or
So
No comment.
no comment.
at the end of the week, this I guess guy left a pile of 10 dimes. I
That's
still
what
don't know
happened.
whether
Oh,
it
yeah.
was American or
No,
Canadian
dimes. They're always
Oh,
Canadian
no.
dimes.
Oh, no.
A pile of 10 dimes.
They wanna
stacked
get rid of 'em, too.
neatly on the table.
Oh, no.
My father is a diplomat. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
me, and he's kind of like me.
10
He doesn't.
dimes.
He's nothing like me. He was a very kind and gentle soul. He took the pile of dimes. He went out to the parking lot where the guy was, and he just simply said, "Sir, you forgot this on the table."
Oh, yeah. No, that's bad.
Good
Yeah,
for
yeah.
And then he turned around. He
And
didn't
left.
try to shame him. He just said, "You
That was
forgot
it.
this."
I hope this is the
That's
last
it.
I
I
ever
think
see
if
of you.
someone leaves
That's
you
a
10
great
dimes, you're allowed to load them up into a shotgun like Billy the
Oh,
Kid
yeah,
in Young
yeah.
Gun.
And shoot it up in the
Part-
air.
Should be
No,
able to
and
fire him at
Young
the
Gun
guy.
Part 2,
Yeah.
and then
Will come
smack
out.
him in the back. Be like, best dollar I ever spent, Dave.
Hey, we have no Joe Beja this week because he's helping
There's
his
no
mom.
Beja,
So, but we might have a special guest. Although I assume once he sees us and this show, he'll run the other way.
Who's
He's been
that?
on it before.
Dave Joseph?
A guy who is a chef, an accomplished, renowned local chef by the name of Raheem Seeley.
Yeah,
He was
Is
in
that him?
charge of the
No.
kitchen at J&C Oyster Bar in Hollywood
Oh,
when
yeah,
we were
nice.
doing
Yeah.
some work with them when they first opened up.
How's that going down there?
J&C, again, they are
You
in
were raving about
a
it.
tough part. Oh, the food there is
The
exceptional.
food's
because
spectacular.
Raheem
but
created the menu and is kind of oversees the kitchen, but he's not there day to day because he's gone back now and has been named executive chef for all the
they
Q
put those right in front
restaurants,
of Lubie.
KYU restaurants. Is now a global phenomenon. It
Is it
started
really?
off in Wynwood. There's one in Mexico City. There's one in New York City. There's one in Las Vegas, and there's one in Miami. And
Is
Raheem
that a chicken
is
wing
now
on
the
a bun?
executive chef
This
for
is
all
the
the
chicken-
Q
What,
restaurants.
what is that, Michael?
the sliders.
These
Oh,
are
it's chicken
hot
sliders?
honey chicken sliders. We've
Oh,
had
man.
them
Had them
on
like
the
3
table
times, yeah.
before.
Those are
They're good.
great. Wow.
Ken wanted them, and we got a big New
Ken
Year's
usually
assortment.
likes the empanadas, but he never
We
gets
got-
any.
we got
Well,
we got everything else, but they're
we also have something for the first time: the churrasco
Oh,
steak.
that looks
Oh,
great.
that looks
Wow,
solid.
Wow, solid.
And usually we stay away from the red meat entrees here
Ooh, did some
because we are
excellent
health
ordering
minded on
today.
the lunchbox. But red
It's New
meat,
Year's.
pure red meat is
That,
healthy.
that looks really good.
Yeah, and
Whatever
the
they did there,
churrasco
looks great,
steak with
yeah.
a little chimichurri. We got a
Now, what
flatbread.
was the deal? And there was some criticism of this, where you had put cheese, Parmesan cheese on like it looked like clams and linguine
No,
at
no,
the
this
Even
was-
Keel Fish Shack.
People were making a big to do because there was some grated cheese.
Oh,
on-
it's a
their
cream.
clams
It's a cream dish.
carbonara
Yeah,
sauce.
it's
Yeah,
a
what was
cream
the
dish.
story
It's like
on
an
it?
Italian
Oh,
dish.
okay, that makes sense. Then.
Yeah, the clams carbonara at Even
Smells
Keel.
great.
We've had it before.
Val and I stopped by Even Keel for New Year's Eve. We had a dozen oysters, and it was
Now,
a
did you pay there
very
too?
positive thing. Yes, because they honored their usual
Barry Sheck over
Tuesday
here.
night. On Tuesdays, they have $2
Mr.
oysters,
Bum.
and they have weekday happy hour 4 to 7. A lot of places on a holiday like New Year's Eve suspend their usual specials, but not at Even Keel, and it was packed. at 4:00 there, they had the
They've
Tuesday
been
night,
doing well, yeah.
the $2 oysters all night long, like they usually do, even though it was New Year's Eve. And I posted on Let's Eat because we had some oysters, we had some of their hamache poke, and we got the clams carbonara, which is my favorite dish, and it's with a cream sauce. And the thing in the middle, people were saying, is that burrata cheese? No, it was a poached egg.
No, it's an egg.
They have a poached egg in the middle, and you hit the runny egg, and then it goes
It
through
drips.
the
It's beautiful.
carbonara sauce. Was there some grated cheese in it? I'm not sure. There might have been.
You seem like the person to ask, and I'm sure there's been nothing happening at Even Keel. What is going on with these oysters and everybody getting sick?
They're not getting sick. Norovirus. Okay, norovirus is going around
Okay.
mainly from people spreading it with their germs and talking to each
On
other,
the
shaking
blaming
Like
hands.
115 people in one LA restaurant.
Oysters, and there's particular, I guess, oysters, because they kind of feed and purify themselves, that they're susceptible to being contaminated with viruses from the waters that they're in. So
Okay.
some of these oysters had gotten contaminated with norovirus, but they do testing on it, and then they kind of usually
Okay.
just rule off those oysters until they test clean. But there's nobody gotten sick from an oyster at any of the local South Florida restaurants here in the last recent thing.
So it's a
They're
West Coast
saying
problem.
norovirus can, like oysters and clams, can be a conduit for norovirus. All right. But anyway, we had a great time at Even Keel. They honored their usual specials on a holiday. That was a positive. Of course, people on the Let's Eat group found a way to turn it into a negative.
Really?
Getting back,
What was negative?
the fact that there was cheese that they thought in the middle of this
yeah, no, I
Circling
carbonara.
saw that.
back that the important
You were
point
getting a lot
for
of
this
crap
show
over that, yeah.
is oysters are totally clean in South
know who
Florida.
started
Don't
that,
worry
Smart?
about it inside. Because I've seen people on the
There
internet
are
talking about
warning labels on any menu when you eat raw or undercooked seafood, which raw oysters is one of them. If you have a
They got a
compromised,
picture of C. Everett Koop on the shelves. What are you talking about?
if you have a compromised immune system, you should be careful about eating
Okay.
raw seafood. Okay, every place has that warning on the menu.
well, I just didn't
They
want
get clean, beautiful product.
I just like the fact that you were getting crap, from the Let's Eat
Of
group
course.
because you put cheese on a dish.
I'm just saying, if we went to Even Keel, I don't want RFK Jr. running in off the street and like slapping your food away.
All right.
Their
And
oysters are
I didn't even
solid.
get to
They're in
finish the
good
thought
shape.
about Raheem. Raheem was going to be here because he's
Oh.
gotten into the racing game. As we learned from him when we went to J&C Oyster. Also, by the way, clean and beautiful oysters at J&C.
Yes.
So in other words, he
Uh,
has too much money and is just trying to lose some.
He
by
said
getting into horse racing.
He must be killing it down there at the restaurant.
he said that if he wasn't a chef, he would be a thoroughbred horse trainer. He loves
Yeah, he's not
thoroughbred
a
horses. He doesn't
degenerate.
even
He just
gamble
likes
on
the
them.
horses. He
doesn't
literally
even-
likes
But
the
everybody I
that-
know who's ever owned a horse is like, yeah, it's the worst
Well,
investment.
no, he
you
wouldn't be
could ever
doing it to make money. He's doing it just because he
A
loves
few-
the horses.
a
That's
month
his
ago,
thing. Like he loves
He basically has gotten involved in the claiming game, and he claimed a horse named Battle of Dover.
Okay.
And he's, I guess, friendly with a trainer, Frank Regalato or Regalamuto. I don't know the guy's name. He's been a trainer on and off for 3 decades. He's taken some gaps, but I guess this Frank and Raheem claimed this horse.
So he got into it. Wow.
And Battle of
No,
Dover
wow.
raced for the first time as Raheem's horse 2
He
weeks
won.
ago.
Okay.
And he finished 4th. He ran a really good race. He was 25-1. I did wager a few shekels on him. And he was leading, and he was second going into the stretch, and he got swallowed up in the last 70 yards and ended up finishing 4th, making the money, hitting the superfecta. Anyway, Battle of Dover is racing in today's 5th race,
Oh,
so
yeah?
Raheem is going to be out here watching the horse. It's going to be at 2:30. I invited him to stop by the set. I told him where it was, and he said he would try to make it. But of course, when they say you try, usually
He's not. He's shining you on,
he's,
man.
yeah, he's not. coming. But that's okay because I'm
We
still going to
asked.
root for him. I just texted him, wished him luck.
I hope he thought the ad campaign was effective. I mean, you guys really did a good job.
Yeah, no.
When you were down there, I didn't get a chance to go there, but it looked like a fabulous place, and I'm glad they're still thriving, right? Because
their food is great.
yeah,
And I am picking up where I left off, shoveling the great.
how was your holiday food experience, Mike Mayo? I
we
saw
haven't
some
talked.
things.
Yeah, we haven't talked.
Yeah, you might have to get into the next segment with that.
Well,
'cause,
before we do that, let's
yeah.
first of all take our first break. But Lubie, can you really just quickly run down what we
I
ordered,
can.
or maybe just
I'm
so
doing
we-
it online because our friend Annette always wants to know, and I'm doing that right now, so I'll do it on there as well. To start, the hot honey chicken sliders, they started a few weeks ago where it's a smash hit. At
those
least
look great. Yeah.
at this table, I think it's the third time
Oh.
we've had it because we just really enjoy it. Margarita pizza.
Does that not have Big Bite written all over it?
He's tried. It's too much even for him. I don't think he's been able to do more than half of it. It's like a thick piece of chicken.
It's a new year,
they're not
Michael.
chintz.
It's a
not
new year.
chintz.
One of my resolutions were no more big
No
bites.
more. We'll see.
What?
We'll see if we get rid of that resolution.
Really?
Today. A margarita pizza.
Resolutions. We need resignations, Lubie. You and I are going to quit the show.
We
if
haven't
you
had
do
that in a while. The French dip, which we had a couple of times and we really enjoy. The jus is fantastic and the meat's wonderful. The chicken milanesa, which we've really enjoyed. We had it a couple of weeks ago. And then we've never gotten this, and I'll probably move it toward the front since we've never had it before.
Looked like a hit.
The churrasco, real deal churrasco. And Joe, they add this to the menu. Joe was really proud of it. And we know Chef Jason was proud of it. So it's our first time doing this. We usually, again, stay away from the red meat because we
Christen that thing.
do enough here. But
Yeah.
Mayo was like, let's show them what they got here at Gulfstream Park. So this is the churrasco.
That looks great. I mean,
With
this
Timmy
is,
Troy. So real deal
think
Argentinian
about it.
churrasco.
I mean, you used to qualify everything under a broad umbrella of racetrack food, and it was all pretty
Oh,
much the
yeah.
same around the country. But dynamite job here.
No,
by
it's just
Joe
good
Beja.
food. And
Yeah.
my daughter loved the buffet on Wednesday. It was like the usual Sunday buffet, except they had a couple of enhancements. They had a crepe
Ooh,
station.
really?
Oh, damn.
Oh, my God.
So they were
You
making both
missed it,
savory and sweet
and savory
crepes.
and sweet.
She had a Nutella crepe, and they also had the carvery, and they had some things items like a scallop ceviche. I guess that must have been on for the New Year's. And
Wow.
that
That's
was the
nice.
next-
That's interesting.
That's
It was
nice.
Yeah.
good. They had some
Scallop
great
ceviche.
stuff.
This is not stuff you'd expect at the track.
Oh, no.
Oh, and the other thing they had, and I actually sent a note to Joe. They were very culturally aware on January 1st, New Year's Day, which is also Haitian Independence Day. The soup of the day that they served at the buffet was the soup jumu, which is the traditional
Oh, they did it?
Haitian. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
except they didn't call it soup jumu because nobody would have known
Knows
what
what
it
that
was.
is,
It
yeah.
just said butternut squash soup. But
Soup Jamook. It would have been more appropriate. So.
Yeah, here.
I have to
exactly.
ask you a question, though, about a Let's Eat thing that popped up. And it looked like it came from Danica Patrick originally, which is kind of amazing. But there was this ceviche thing, a cup
Okay.
that was posted. And
And it had avocado in it.
it had avocado.
Shirley and I saw that
and,
yesterday.
and everybody was asking what the hell this is and
It
where
looked
can you get it.
amazing.
And Mayo Man, I don't know if you commented on that, but
it looks like a basic shrimp ceviche. It's a Mexican style.
But
It
it
is
was nice.
sold at seafood markets. I've seen it at
It was
many
really nice.
places, and everybody.
I don't know that I've ever seen that in a restaurant, though. I have to say no to that.
Okay,
I'm sure some places serve
our
it.
friends at Even Keel actually have a
They have a
shrimp
nice
They have
ceviche.
that? Oh, yeah.
So
Wow.
next time we're
And it's
there,
served like that. in
and
a
by the
cup?
way, we are going to be there this Thursday at with our buddy Brad.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to order a shrimp ceviche, and we'll see if it
See what
comes
that
out.
looks like. Yeah.
It's not in a similar thing because this was in a big like.
Well, what
plastic
I liked about it was
container.
usually they're chintz with the
It looked great.
avocado.
I mean, it looked
and it
absolutely
was like a
great.
half
Yeah.
avocado. And that's
I'm just
rare that you
curious
get that.
because it's Danica Patrick. Did she
Yeah,
crash?
I mean,
Did she crash into a Mexican food
you
truck?
know what's
and
great
just
about
start
Danica
taking
Patrick?
food?
She's now endorsing, some rival of Car Shield.
Of course she
Who
is.
better to sell insurance on repairs to your
Body
car
work, yeah.
than somebody who spent her entire career in the pits waiting for them to knock some dent out that she had put in the car on the first turn.
I didn't even notice the name. I think it was Danica
It
something.
wasn't Danica Patrick.
It wasn't Danica Patrick.
No, but
She's
it
too
came from-
busy getting ready for the inaugural ball or something like that.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
they're not letting her go.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Oh,
and
really?
Nor do I care.
No,
All right, let's take
we've
our
done
first
enough.
break. But before we do, we
Yes.
got to talk about our friends at the Visit Lauderdale
Yeah, got a
Food
couple
Wine
weeks.
Festival.
Almost there.
And it's almost here, and we are very excited because we're going to be a big part of it. We love going out to all the events, and you will too. Again, go online to vlfoodwine.com. The festivities kick off on January 13th with a great sold-out dinner at Heritage. I'll be going to that this year, and actually
Nice.
Val got me tickets. Paid.
There you
There you
Again,
go.
the Mike Mayo way for 2025 is paying my own way. I'm not a schnorrer.
That's not
I'm
the Mike
looking at-
Lubie Lubitz way. I'll tell you that
All
right now.
well,
Yeah.
But
I
go
don't think
online.
1 year is enough to cleanse that reputation.
That's not my
DLFoodwine.com.
way.
They have the 5 signature events where you use the promo code Lunchbox. You'll get an extra 15% off the already low ticket prices. Some of the
The
events
tickets
are
left. I
close
was
to
going to say the
sellout.
tickets left.
I haven't
'cause
even
We're
checked.
getting there.
I know Phil was. I was getting ready for the show, and he called, and
Heath.
I did not talk to him, but they are going to be close to selling out the grand tasting and the barbecue battle. Again, Wednesday night is the cocktail competition. Thursday is the walk
We'll
and
be there doing
roll
the show.
Asian theme. We're
Come
going
by
to do
and
a
say hey.
special show that night. Friday, barbecue battle, first time outdoor live smoking. It's going to be beautiful.
You and the professor will be judges
we will
or
be
co-judges.
judging, yes. And
Professor,
then,
you're in as a judge?
well, he's an
Nice.
unofficial. He's going to be my
I'll
kind
be
of.
adding my opinion.
He's my taste tester and also We're going to be consulting. I'm going to give him
Mayo
input.
needed a barbecue expert to step in.
Oh no, there's
That's
no
you.
doubt about
I'm
it.
the
That's
official
definitely good.
judge, but he's going to have massive input, as in
Lubie will be helping with the raw duck portion.
Yeah. Still a classic episode.
And then Saturday is the grand tasting. Sunday is the first time ticketed brunch event. Those 5 events, use the promo code Lunchbox. You get extra savings. January 13th through the 19th. All kinds of great things going on around town. Intimate dinners, seminars, tastings, all that. 2 weeks away. The holidays are over, but it's not too late to get tickets today via foodwine.com. All right, let's take our first break.
And we have a contest coming, right?
And we do have a contest. We got a lot on the list, but we did a nice job of meandering. And
Did people
eating.
show up that had the New Year's Eve win?
Okay, so the New Year's
was the
Eve
story on that?
winner, and
Yeah.
her name...
She had to defer to the second half?
Something with an E. Margie Yard with an E at the end.
Yeah.
Good for you.
She couldn't make it New Year's Eve. She
Okay.
asked if she could just come to a regular Sunday buffet, and Joe Beja, being the hospitable person he is, said, of course.
Oh, nice.
So she did not come to the New Year's Eve.
All right.
Now, we also had a giveaway when we did 388. The owner there, Maddie, was very nice enough to give away a $100 gift certificate to a 388 Italian up in Boca. And they're going to be taking part in the Red Meat Lovers Club Meatball
Meatball
Boxing
Fest,
Night.
yeah.
That's going to be January 29th. Go online to
Meatball boxing night?
ribcagebattle.com and it'll direct you to get tickets on Eventbrite for, it's going to be boxing and a meatball competition among
Boxing like the sport.
Yes.
Yeah.
People in the ring boxing.
days.
And then they're also
Boxing, Delray
restaurants
Beach
doing meatballs.
Boxing Club.
It's
a
interesting
lot of
combination.
fun. And some of the meatball competitors include our friends at Prezzo, Eddie Pizzoli. Our friend Peter from Peter's Pizzeria is going to be entering. Also Sicilian Oven, our friends Andrew and
Nice
Ralph.
meatball.
And 388 are going to be submitting their balls for consideration.
There you go.
And you like
There you
that
go.
one.
Yeah.
You need to word that. Phrase it.
Well, I told Matty it
First
was
show of
very
the year.
admirable for him to put his balls on the line and be in such formidable competition.
I tell you what, that's going to be a hell of a competition based on the
fun.
people that
No,
are
that's a
involved.
nice
Yeah.
group.
I'm going to be judging
And,
that. That's January 29th. And go
they
online
do a great job.
to
that
Red Meat Lovers Club. Just do a Google search. It's ribcagebattle.com is the website
Oh,
that you can get your tickets.
Yeah, you know,
and
as a
that's-
member in that Delray Boxing Club is remember Steve Jaffrod came to the studio.
Okay.
Was a heavyweight contender, local heavyweight contender. Actually fought for the championship. I would imagine he'll be on the scene that night. Good
I
kid,
want some of
man.
that
really
churrasco.
good kid.
That churrasco looks
It's
beautiful.
cooked perfect.
I think
medium
medium
rare.
with
Yeah.
And it's
chimichurri.
cooked perfect.
All right, let's
But
take
Mayo,
the,
I mean, really,
let's
you've
take our
declared
first-
that you're not. I have one picked out
Actually,
for
as
you
long as
for the
it's
big
cutting.
I
fight.
said medium rare to leaning rare. and they did do it. No,
I
Ken, man,
am-
they did it.
my resolution is to kind of
Mayo.
treat myself better. And, you know, I'm going to
There's
still
nothing
eat
unhealthy.
It's already the
There's
third. I mean, can't you
There's
throw in a
nothing
towel on that?
unhealthy.
Yeah.
Let's take-
Chimichurri and
let's
meat.
take-
There's nothing unhealthy.
Let's take that
I mean,
first
the
break, and
table
then
has some
I'll
stuff.
reconsider all my
that dish.
That must be
resolutions
reconsidered.
and life
That must be
choices.
reconsidered.
After
Be
this,
back
Gulfstream Park,
from 10 Palms at Gulfstream after this.
Hey Lunchbox fans, is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. Transworld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at Transworld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligans, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to Transworld to help sell. Contact Transworld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks. They're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to For the finest poultry and the freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. For the finest and authentic Greek cuisine, Taverna Kima is the place to go. 6298 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It's been around for nearly 2 decades. Every day is a feast with grilled lamb and fish, house-made spinach pie and moussaka, gyros, traditional dips, mezes, with soft, warm pita. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner with happy hour daily from 3 to 6 p.m., indoor, outdoor, private dining, and they are now featuring a monthly lamb roast brunch on the first Sunday of every month. So celebrate life at Taverna Kima for reservation. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. I just did a quick sweep around to see if I could find Raheem up here, but he's not here. He's probably at the farm. Yeah. Feeding his horse Battle of Dover some special concoction to get him ready to run. I would.
What are you suggesting?
A little cayenne pepper applied
to the
maybe
Frank
on
Pissarro?
to the area that we were talking about before.
No, Battle of Dover going in the 5th race.
Everything is
owned
on a level here,
by
Mayo.
accomplished chef Raheem Seeley of
And he's
Q,
probably off.
J&C Oyster, and Smoking Pig Barbecue.
He's probably off consulting on a new menu, so can afford his horse ownership habit.
No, he's done quite well, and it wasn't, he didn't spend $1 million at auction. He bought a
Oh my God,
10,000 claimer.
he's in business with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's right.
He'd be really timely today.
It would be timely.
Oh, Jesus.
Not that Jimmy's sharing all his, where he
Well,
prefers
it's just
to
funny
go.
that he's
But
actually in business
considering
with
that,
Butler.
let's say Jimmy Butler is, I guess, a major backer of this whole drinking pig concept, which opened in Cleveland and Chicago. So maybe Cleveland and Chicago are 2 stops that Jimmy Butler might be.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't see either. Well, Cleveland maybe. He would actually fit pretty well in Cleveland.
He was just in Cleveland. Ken just spent some time in Cleveland.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that drama. I mean, it's kind of interesting because
It'll be figured out.
when a player who's a superstar prima donna wants out, usually they
get their
get what
way,
they
yeah.
want because if he's going to be a
Are we
dog,
really doing that to Jimmy Butler now? We're calling him a prima
I'm not calling him
donna?
a prima donna. I just don't like what he's doing. Like the leaving.
what
is
do you
fine.
call it when somebody
Just
announces their intention to want to not be here anymore, said there's no more joy here, complaining about his role?
I call
and then
that
basically
reality because
dogging it.
he knows the Heat aren't going to pay him, and he knows it's his last contract. He wants to get
So he's
paid.
got to go for it. That's what it.
And
Both sides are doing
honestly,
what they
he's
got to do.
been a dude who, it's not like he's been Wemby making max contracts since he was 22 years old.
No, and he's earned his keep because he's led the
No,
Heat
to
not to
finals.
a title, but to the finals a couple
Twice.
of times.
So
Twice,
well,
yes.
that's my stance on it. I'm not upset at either side. I just
And beat the Celtics
would-
twice and injured Jason Tatum very badly once.
so he's
There's
you're
nothing wrong
Hall
with
of
Jimmy
Fame.
Butler. Yeah. You want to hang Jimmy Butler's number in the rafters?
Hall of
Fine
Fame.
by me.
Meanwhile, this churrasco steak, which is a
fantastic.
first-time get for us here during
Yeah.
our Friday
Looks
fun
great.
days,
Looks
It's
good.
with the
fantastic.
chimichurri sauce on top. I love a good chimichurri.
One that's homemade.
It just
We do
livens up
everything
the
here
steak, but it
in-house, which
doesn't
is great.
overshadow it. Of
Something
course,
is being ignored here too. Well, whatever this
This
is.
is the
Well,
French
that's
dip.
the
You should
French
try
dip.
it. You loved it. Remember we had it.
French
It's
dip.
great.
Yeah, look at
All right,
It's a nice
well,
small piece.
Messi himself would enjoy his day at Gulfstream.
Yes,
with a
Argentinian
churrasco steak.
Churrasco steak. Yep.
So let's do a contest. Do you
Let's
want to
get
do
going.
the contest,
Yeah,
or do you want
just
to
in
hear
case.
some of my New Year's eating
I mean, we
highlights?
can talk
So-
about the eating, but let's do the contest first.
Okay,
I'm
let's do
Before
that.
the
curious
coaches-
about I saw some of the things you ate that you posted.
Well, I had.
I'm wondering
king
if the
crab
holiday
legs.
season was long enough to accommodate.
No,
I was thinking, I'm eating rice and beans, and this guy's unbelievable.
I told
mean,
you
where you are,
before,
you travel to regions
Defo-
and areas we've never seen before.
I've already told you what's going to be on my tombstone, and it's just 3 simple words. He ate well. That's it. So,
But we don't want to be
continuing.
posting that like in 2026 or
No,
anything.
I'm hoping
we have lots
to
of-
avoid that as
Again,
well.
the famous Burt Sugar quote that he told us
Defoe's
that
favorite.
I've used several times.
You would rather be a.
Rather be a good liver than
And
have a good liver.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Defoe's favorite. Yeah.
That was more related to drinking, though.
It's
Could
related
be
to overall
anything.
life.
Everything hits your
Your
liver.
No,
Yeah.
Bert was on the money, man. The guy was great, man. When he almost got me married to that French girl at the Caesar's Palace wedding chapel, 3 a.m. on like a Saturday night, it was like, man, that was crazy.
There was a lot of good eating during the holidays, and for New Year's this year,
Wait
you
a
know,
minute. Let me position this. On your
first of all, we're
plate
going to get to today is the Mayo Bowl, and Sarni was
Oh,
all
it's
over
actually the
me
Duke's Mayo
for
Bowl.
predictions and what's my top 5 mayonnaises like
here.
mayonnaise.
Who better to call
more
the game
than
than you?
3? What mayonnaise is that? Do you
Well,
do
I gave
after
him a top
Hellman's and
5.
Dukes?
How come you
Choopy.
rate Duke
I
so
guess
so
Miracle
low on
Whip,
the
I
totem
guess.
pole, man?
It's
Choopy,
too
if you
sweet
can
I
for
think
find
you're
me.
wrong about that. Yeah.
I believe that they add sugar to it because it's a southern thing, and they love
Yeah.
to just make
For
everything
Duke's?
sweet.
I think Duke's
Duke
mayonnaise is
doesn't
pretty good.
sweet like it's Miracle Whip. Is sweet.
I
can't
think
eat it.
here's
I
my-
wouldn't sneer at it. I
my
was a
top
Hellman's
5
guy.
Mayo's top 5 Mayos that
All
I
right.
gave to Jim Sarni for use in his widely popular SportsIllustrated.com
Did he use
column. I don't know. I didn't see
He
today's
probably
yet.
did knowing him.
Editor probably.
First of all, I called for an upset straight out Virginia Tech over Minnesota in the Duke's Mayo
No,
Bowl
both
today.
the top 2 quarterbacks are out, right?
I don't know anything.
You should have
All I
consulted
know
Ken
is
first.
when it comes to a bowl game sponsored by a Southern mayonnaise, I go with the Southern team, and that would be Virginia Tech because they're
Maybe 10
south
years
of the
ago that would
Mason
have been
Dixon
good,
line.
but with
But,
the opt-outs.
all right, top 5 Mayos. Hellman's, Clear Cut, number 1 classy mayo. Number 2 is Mike's Amazing Mayo out of New York. They're a sponsor of the New York Yankees.
I have no
And
idea.
I love
heard
the
of
fact
Never
that
heard
it's
of
It's your
that it's
name,
called
Mike's
Mike's
Mayo.
Amazing Mayo
Never
because
heard of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's me. That's number 2. Number 3 is Japanese Kewpie mayonnaise.
That's what Ken was
You're
just
out of your
saying.
mind.
Kewpie?
You don't like Kewpie mayonnaise?
No, it's number 1.
He would
by
have
a
it
lot.
higher.
Oh,
probably.
okay. So
It's number 1 by far.
I didn't want to get too frou for the people out there.
You just did Mike's Amazing Mayonnaise that you sold
The show's all
at
about
like 2
opinion.
bodegas in Brooklyn.
All right, let me reshuffle my mayo picks. Kewpie number 1, Hellman's
There
number
you
2, Mike's Amazing Mayo number 3, Kraft Mayo number 4,
Kraft's
above
solid.
Now,
Duke's
Over
number
Duke's?
5.
I like Dukes over Kraft, but Kraft's fine. Kraft's and Hellman's taste a lot.
What'd you
each
think
other
of
to me.
Deep South
Are we
peanut butter
counting-
the first time you had it?
are we counting
Okay.
Miracle Whip as a mayo or is that
No, Miracle
salad
Whip
dressing?
is like freaking margarine. It doesn't count
Okay.
because it's not the real
Okay.
thing. It's like I can't believe it's
I was
not
I was
butter.
asking.
No, the answer is no.
Okay.
Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise.
Okay, so you don't even put it in there. Okay, yeah, because I've never liked
and I
it. but
like
people
I
do
like
use it.
Kraft Mayo. You know why? Because the label just has in big bold letters
Oh,
mayo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah,
I
Kraft
get
Mayo's
it.
fine.
partial. All right, let's do the
And so what's
contest,
5, Dukes?
and then I will do a
Yeah, you
big
said
bite.
Dukes.
I might just do the chicken itself because the bun is not
Come
part
on,
of my
come
new
on, Mike.
keto diet.
No, shut
This
up.
is the
Don't
first
even
one of
start
the
with that.
year.
Devo will run off.
Let's ask a legitimate question here
Okay.
Yes.
about the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Okay.
As someone who's into the name and because coincident, are you pleased or disgusted by the ceremony at the end where they dumped the Gatorade bucket full of mayonnaise
I think that's good.
on the coach?
It's the most
That's gross.
awful,
Yeah,
hideous
right?
thing I have ever
The
seen.
only positive,
It
and I'll
looks
agree
like
with
something
Devo.
that should be on Pornhub.
Oh,
It does.
Jesus.
It's
Not anymore.
Oh, have you seen
Not in
this?
Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
what
took
do you
that
mean?
down.
Have I
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it? I saw it at like
Needless to say, I was shocked when I
I
screamed
saw it at
out
like
loud.
12:04 on New Year's Eve. It's like, what? I can't log in anymore?
The only thing I'll say about the Duke's Mayo Bowl is I'm praying to God that Bill Belichick
Yes.
finds North Carolina in there next year, and this will be the only time I've ever rooted for the page
Yep.
for Belichick in my life.
Yeah.
Because if they win, you have to sit there, and they have to
You
dump
don't
you with the
have
mayo.
to.
Oh, I thought they. Well, has anyone ever not?
Have
I
you
thought
ever
they
been
always
down
do.
with
Everybody's
mayo?
always done it
Yeah.
because they give you like $100,000 to do it.
Shouldn't
But
we do a ceremony
We
with
should.
Mike Mayo?
Somebody
Mike
should
Mayo.
dump
In honor of the Mayo
mayo
Bowl?
on me, but it would have
Where's
to be
Joe Beja, man?
would have to be
We'll have
money
to
involved.
sponsor-
I
we'll
would
have to
only do
sponsor
it
I'm not-
Come on.
if
Not
somebody
everything's
was
about money.
paying
Some
a
of
little
it's
bit more.
spirit of
I
the
just
show.
want to see Belichick so
Yeah.
bad get dumped with mayo. That would make
All
me
right,
so.
it's already
happy.
1:44. I'm going to say
Let's
we're
get
going
to
to
the
do a
contest.
second break,
Right, and then the contest.
and then
okay.
the contest, and then
All
we'll
right.
talk more about my holiday
Your
eating,
eating.
and then we'll maybe do a big bite of a chicken.
Well, you also
a
need to
chicken
spill the
tender.
beans on your resolutions.
Well, there are
chicken
no.
foot.
They
Again,
said
I
no
don't-
big
my
bites, but now he's
resolutions-
already going
Yeah,
back.
he doesn't do it.
That's why I don't do resolutions.
No.
They're
It's okay though. He got
They're
to January
useless.
3rd.
and
That's
You
like
made
a
it 2
record.
days into the
That's like
year,
a
man.
record.
That was
because we didn't have any
great.
live shows, so
Yeah.
that's always good.
Exactly.
Before we go to our second break, I do have to talk about Tropical Acre Steakhouse because we were talking about some great dishes. They had a couple of specials up on the board when I was in there yesterday for happy hour. I think for New Year's Eve they had a special beef Wellington, and they were still had it a little bit left yesterday. But they also have a new dry rubbed ribeye steak that was on this week's special board. And I'm going to be going in there
I gotta start
tomorrow
getting
with
down to that place.
my daughter before she goes back to Florida State. Her request for her last meal in town before she goes back to a life of ramen noodles and God knows what else when you live in a college dormitory.
Team dorm,
She wanted to go to Tropical Acres. She loves it there. So don't let the naysayers fool you. It's not just for a certain demographic. It's not just for people who are, let's say, over the age of 50 like me. Kids love it. I've seen all kinds of
Yeah, you get
people in the
couples of all
bar
ages
there
there.
for happy hour,
It's a good
4:30 to
spot, man.
6:30.
Kids should really love it. Man.
Oh, yeah. She
Bargain.
pricing,
loves
oh my
it.
God, are you kidding?
She's in love with the prime rib or the filet mignon. Those are two of my greatest hits there. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road. They've gotten through the holidays. They did it in fine style. You don't see any complaints on Let's Eat About Tropical Acres
there's been
during
a
big
nice
holidays because
moratorium on
they
Tropical Acres.
know how to handle big crowds on big days and get the food out in a way that's efficient and still delicious. And they'll do it for you any day of the week that they're open, which is every day but Sunday. 2500 Griffin Road. Call for reservations for this weekend, 954-989-2500. We love Tropical Acres. And again, half-price wine Monday and Tuesday. Happy hour on the bar Monday through Friday. Half-price drinks. It was crazy. I got 3 drinks, 2 martinis, Belvedere martinis, and my buddy got a double shot of some sort of the tequila that he likes, and the total tab was like $23.
No,
or something
it's
for
ridiculous.
it's
Can't
crazy.
beat that with
That's
a
what
steak.
one drink
How
is.
about, I mean,
And speaking of generations, if your kid doesn't like steak and prime rib, it's because you're a bad parent.
Well,
and
then
then
I'll-
beyond that, when in school, I don't know, this goes way back, but the 2 foods in the hot food machine that everybody always got, either Dinty Moore beef stew in a tiny little like cat food can or Hormel chili.
yes,
Those were your 2 big choices.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
Which
those
way
have
do
been
you go on
replaced
that?
with like hot pockets.
I used to see
Hot Pockets.
I
Hot
used to
Pockets
see
is
Hot Pockets and the Stouffer's French bread pizza in some of those
Yeah, those
like
are the two
vending
things,
machines
yeah.
that
Oh,
you
no,
would throw
that's
into a
modern age,
microwave.
man.
So,
That's modern
That's-
age. I was in the Stone Age, man.
all right,
I went
let's
to college
take
in the 50s.
the second break.
Was
We'll
ramen
come
noodles
back
for me.
for the contests and whatever else we could cram
Actually,
in
well-
before 2 o'clock comes around. When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended for a special occasion or any occasion. Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo. Looking for great seafood that's a little further inland? Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C. 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward, some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Feel like getting away without leaving town? Then you got to check out the House on the River in Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful restored historic home with indoor and outdoor dining right on the New River. You'll think you're in Charleston or Savannah. It has a gorgeous patio, porches, and private dining areas, and it offers unique experiences perfect for a date night or fun times with friends and family. It has weekend brunches, happy hour, dinner Wednesday through Sunday. There's also a high tea on Friday and Saturdays, and the popular House of Veuve Champagne experience on weekends. The House on the River is in Fort Lauderdale's Himmershey district, just south of the Science Museum. For reservations and all right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We're at 10 Palms at Gulfstream Park. We're enjoying a great Friday of racing, celebrating the new year. We got Ken the Professor with us. We got Lubie. We've got Defo off losing
Making
money,
more bets.
making more wagers. Was he ahead? I think he actually
No,
cashed
they
the
hit, I
ticket.
think, on the race.
And I didn't make any bets yet today.
You could
I'm
choose.
waiting for Battle of Dover in the 5th race. Our friend Chef Raheem Seeley.
Oh, his horse actually races today.
His
oh,
horse
wow.
is
Okay.
race. That's why I invited him.
Did he tip you at all? Did he say, like,
No,
maybe
He
I,
doesn't know.
wouldn't ask
Does
him,
he?
but I did like the way he ran. He kind of just, the last time he showed some speed
Oh, you
and then
actually watched
gave way.
the race, okay.
I watched the race last time. That was just about 2 weeks ago, and now he's running back. And I think, if he's over 15-1, it's worth a flyer. We'll see what happens. I did put 2 to win in place on him. Battle of Dover, number 7 horse in the 5th race today. We'll watch that after the show is over. Meanwhile, it is time for the contest. It is the weekly 10 Palms Sunday Brunch contest. We're back to the usual Sunday brunch, and it's a great thing. Every day of racing, they do have 10 Palms open, and on the weekends, they have their fabulous buffets. Sunday, including the omelet station. I did have a fantastic omelet the other day.
They make great omelets.
On Wednesday. I think Rose is her name. And even my daughter had half of mine. She was like, wow,
Well,
that's
it's
a good
big
omelet.
omelet, and it's really done. They do a
Done
good job.
beautifully. All right, so what you can do is email the answer to this week's restaurant trivia questions along with your horse selections for this week's Gulfstream Saturday contest race, which is race number 11, the last race on the card, which is one of the co-features.
By the way, you blew it last week by eliminating the feature race with White Barrio, who lost.
Yeah, but that's okay because we only had, it was very easy. We had 3 people who had the winning horse in last week's contest race, and 2 of them picked the Dolphins. One of them, Shelly G, had the Cleveland winning. And the Dolphins people, one of them, Lisa Koch, had the Dolphins winning by 10.
Oh, yeah, it was classic.
And the other one, the winner.
Backdoor touchdown, kicked out Coach.
Yeah, I believe his name, Paul Levinson, was the winner. He had Dolphins by 11, and since the backdoor touchdown made it 17 points, the winner was Paul with 11 points, not 10 points, which would have been the number. Sorry, Lisa.
Very exciting contest.
It was exciting.
Can you bet on these contests on the Hard Rock app?
You could do anything you want. You could bet with me, a side bet, if you'd like.
Mayo, take your action like you do it.
Basically be like, remember the days of you would bet Tiger Woods versus the field in a golf tournament?
Sure.
Here you would
Coach
bet the
versus
Coach
the field.
family versus the field.
Or Martin Kamer in the golf
How many
tournament.
entries are these guys sneaking in there?
Well, everybody is
It's
playing by the
pretty
rules. It's
consistent.
1 per adult.
Yeah, but
Joanne still would like it 1 per
they
household.
bring like
but
30 people. Their whole family.
Yeah.
They're like cousins in Idaho.
Does seem a
in
little
France,
suspect. Yeah, you're right.
In Albuquerque.
They're covering every result
Yes,
of
they
the
have
race.
like every family member they've ever met has gotten into this.
cousins,
contest.
in-laws, the guy
It's
that
allowed, but I wish we had more foresight. I'm not going to lie
Some
to you.
guy in prison ends up winning the thing,
Yeah,
but he can't
exactly.
come.
All right, let's get through this.
Yeah.
So the feature race, you're going to send, its numbers 1 through 13. It's going to be a full field of 12 going. There isn't also eligible. So give me a number from 1 through 13 for the contest race. The 11th race on tomorrow's card, the 165,000 ginger brew stakes for 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf. I think this is going to be a dry day, so they're going to stay on the turf tomorrow.
Who are you picking?
I have no idea. I didn't even look at the entries, but I do know it's a full field. Post time scheduled for 5:22. And again, the third component will be the NFL tiebreaker, and it's going to be Dolphins-Jets. Are the Jets going to ruin the Dolphins' chances if
You would
they
think
have
so.
one?
No,
Denver's going to run the Dolphins.
I think
chances.
Denver's are going to.
no.
Okay.
Denver's going to lose
See-
to the
see,
backups of the Chiefs. You
it's-
know that, and the
it's-
Jets are going
I
to beat
don't.
the
I don't
Dolphins.
Can
feel
I
like
talk
that's
about
the
this?
case.
That's the joke it made. I actually believe it. Like the Denver Broncos will lose to a Chiefs team that is like
And then Aaron
I'm not
Rodgers
even
will throw his
USFL
last
caliber,
touchdown
and the Dolphins
ever
will lose by like 2
at
touchdowns
the
to the Jets.
expense
100%.
of the
He will go out
Dolphins.
a hero. for
That's so
Jet fans.
Dolphins.
So
That is
that's
so
the
Dolphins.
third component is the winner of the Dolphins-Jets game in the margin. So, well, for example, my pick is Jets by 3 points. I think it's going to be one of those field goal.
The Dolphins
see this
probably
going
win.
down?
but
Wow.
I
it's
mean,
just
if you're a
those Dolphins
Buffalo
too.
hater, and I am, that's the ideal situation because Buffalo wants nothing to do with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh, so I should root
yeah.
out the Bengals.
All right, 3 components. The restaurant, number 1 through 13 for the winner of tomorrow's 11th race at Gulfstream, and the winner of the Jets-Dolphins game with the victory margin. How many points? All right, here we go. You ready for
Chicken
your
Milanese,
clues?
by the way, on
That's
the money.
fantastic. Yeah.
On the
Excellent.
money.
And you know what? What's on this plate? We got a little pasta, a little spaghettini. We
Yep.
got Val in the house. Always good to see you.
Lovely Val.
And do you know what tomorrow is on the national food calendar, Lubie?
Pasta day.
National Spaghetti Day.
There you go.
I have no idea why tomorrow
What
is
does that
National
mean?
Spaghetti Day, but it is. And who
There
am
you
I
go. We're paying
arguing
homage. There you
with the fine folks who run the Ministry of Silly Food Holidays? But tomorrow, National Spaghetti Day. So we're gonna
go. Oh, is that what the contest is in honor of?
we're gonna mark the day with a bygone Fort Lauderdale restaurant that was known for it. Okay, ready?
Okay, let's go.
Number 1, this longtime home of Italian comfort food lasted almost 50 years on a stretch of South Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale between the airport and 17th Street, opening in the early 1950s and shuttering in the late 1990s. It just failed to make it to the 21st century. Number 2, this is the Mayo clue that maybe you'll glean what it is. Do you have any idea what this place is at this point?
You know what? I'm afraid to say I'm blanking on this.
Okay.
one.
I
have no idea.
Yeah.
Here we go. Clan might know it after this one. I don't think there were any weddings with Tony here, nor was this place named for a former Saturday Night Live Weekend Update anchor woman who also starred in 30 Rock. All right, that's your Mayo Obtuse
Yeah,
clue.
what is her name?
All right, number 3. Its final owner was late restaurateur Butch Samp, who also operated the Floridian Diner. And in a 1990 review, the Sun Sentinel, and I was not the food critic at the time in 1990, I was a sports writer, but it's the Sun Sentinel lauded its signature house special platter, which featured spaghetti with meat sauce and mushrooms and a single meatball, which cost back then, you want to guess, anybody, how much did platter of spaghetti with meat sauce,
$9.95.
mushrooms, and a single meatball
In what year?
1990?
Oh, 12.
$11.95.
Yeah.
$5.50.
Oh, wow.
Is the answer. Does anybody have any clue? Again,
No.
number 2 will be the key to jog the memory. I don't think there were any weddings with Tony here, nor was it named from a former Saturday Night Live Weekend Update anchor woman who also starred in 30 Rock. Okay, that's it. Send in the restaurant, the horse.
This is
number
not a
1 through
gimme.
13.
Those that like the
And,
restaurants
yeah,
can gimme.
good
I don't
luck,
remember
everybody.
her ever doing the anchor desk on
Yeah.
SNL.
She co-anchored with Amy Poehler. So there. From
Well, that,
You'll
man,
give us some
I know who you're
names.
talking about, but I don't
Okay.
ever remember
Yeah.
her doing Weekend Update.
She
I'm not
was a
saying you're
co-
wrong.
30 Rock?
I'm
Because
not
like
wrong.
rest
I would
of
bet
America,
my life savings.
Yes, like the rest of America, I didn't watch SNL in those days.
She was the anchor with Amy Poehler for
Okay.
a number of years, and actually she
She had
co-anchored
2
with
women co-hosting SNL's
after
Update.
she originally co-anchored with
Yeah,
Seth
but-
Meyers, and
Okay.
then when Seth Meyers left, she co-anchored with Amy Poehler. She was on the anchor desk for 5 or 6 years.
I'm
So
not
there.
saying you're wrong. Like I said, I don't remember it.
Okay, and
Maybe you do.
that's it. All
Yeah.
right, it's almost 2
It's not
o'clock.
like we haven't pretty heavily hinted who it is.
Yes, he's trying. I don't have any idea what the restaurant
Neither
is.
do I.
Okay,
But maybe
well,
you
it's
do.
going to
again.
be a very slim pickings. It'll be easy to win. You don't even have to
Exact-
pick the horse. All you got to do is get the restaurant
There
this
you
week.
go.
Email all these components to me at mikemayoeats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow, Saturday the 4th,
Come on,
which is
Six, run
National
him down
Spaghetti
somehow.
Day.
Do our last break.
Let's
while
do
the
our last
crowd
break,
goes
and
wild.
then we'll get the heck out of here. I'm going to the movies. I'm going to go see the Bob Dylan movie. Did
Oh,
anybody
it
see
looks
that
good.
yet?
Sounds good.
Chalamet looks ridiculous in
Yeah.
it.
It's got the lovely Val and the Hizzle. We're going to go see the, what do they call it? Like a Rolling Stone? Oh, no,
A
a complete
Complete
unknown,
Complete unknown is what
which
it's
was
called.
the other lyric to the famous Bob Dylan song. All right, let's take our
One of the great mysteries
last
of the
break. But
television
before I do,
universe.
Lubie, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Batch has become
Yes, I was just
the
about to
darling
play
of the
their
Let's
spot.
Eat group because they are wrapping up their 12 days of holiday brunches in a row, but it's actually 16 because they're going to have their weekend brunches this Saturday and Sunday. But Batch, New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, 525 North Federal Highway. A great place, not just for brunch, also for lunch and dinner. People have been going out there for all hours, all meals.
I didn't get a lot on Let's Eat this break that we had, but my favorite, and it sings actually the praises of Batches. Someone who had gone, didn't have one bad experience, had one bad experience, went back because of Kevin, and now goes like weekly.
Right.
And then someone was bitching because too many good posts are coming. Okay, we get it. They're good. Okay.
Some people are they're not
Stop
happy
saying the good
with
things about the
happiness.
place.
Yes.
They want misery.
It's like,
But
what?
sorry, you're not going to find misery at Batch. You're going to find happy people.
Oh my God.
But
Great
you will find it on
hospitality.
the internet. It's the whole
I
reason
know.
the internet
By the way,
exists.
Nando won in
Nando.
honor of
Oh, I had to
the
win. You knew I
retired
had to win.
bartender.
Retired bartender
Yeah.
here.
Batch, you'll win every time you get out
Batch
to
is a sure thing, and it's great to see. Like you said, he turned it around. He turns people around.
I was vouching for it.
People who were saying never going back went back because of him, and now
And what they
are
do.
regular guests, and they're always satisfied. You will be too if you haven't checked it out. Go. It's not only in Fort Lauderdale downtown, but also now West Del Rey and also Clematis Street in West Palm Beach. Batch, New Southern Kitchen and Tap. It is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. All right, let's take the final break, and then we'll get the heck out of here, and we'll be back on the Lunchbox after this. Southern comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. If you want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting, have I got the place for you. Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed. Fresh local fish, a sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hour 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and All right, we're back, and it's pandemonium here. I did take my big bite of the chicken
Hot chicken
slider.
Hot
I took
honey.
it off
It's
the
not
roll.
hot honey.
Took it
chicken.
off the roll, put it with some spaghetti in honor of National
Actually, you kind of
Spaghetti.
behaved yourself. You got rid of the roll.
And
You did.
I got rid of the roll. I ate the chicken, and it's all gone. Unfortunately, nobody got to see me consume it in a big bite, but it's all gone.
So you're still sort of obeying your resolution.
kind of,
Semi.
sort of. Yeah,
Kinda,
that's
sorta.
it. What other business do we have to attend to today?
Oh,
I
you didn't
just-
talk about the eating, man. When we can get out of here, but we can
don't
talk about
worry
New Year's
about
eating.
it. I
And
mean,
you mentioned you're going to the Bob Dylan movie.
Going to the Bob Dylan.
Okay,
movie
you can tell me if they cover this because I'm very curious. The one big Bob Dylan mystery for me is: do you remember when he did that Victoria's Secret commercial for the Super Bowl?
Mm.
Where they had all the models, and at the end had Bob Dylan. Remember that
I
commercial?
sort of do.
Not really.
My question is, in that commercial, did he actually turn Chinese, or did they just make him up to look like he was
Oh,
Chinese
Jesus.
in that commercial?
He was born
God.
Bobby Zimmerman in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Everybody knows that.
That part I know. I have no idea what they
He's
did to
Winona
him.
Ryder's godfather or uncle or something.
Oh, that's funny.
Did not know that either. And I know he got his start in Greenwich Village in performing in some of the great folk, clubs. Was it the Bitter End? What are some of the places that he got his start?
No.
The Bitter End is still there in New York,
I was waiting for
which
my
I
turn.
was a little bit surprised to hear. But a buddy of mine is in town. And yesterday we got some sandwiches before the big game.
Yeah, right
And-
there. The Victoria's. He looks
Okay.
Chinese. Like,
Okay.
did he turn Chinese for that
So I
commercial?
got a little Fu Manchu thing going. Yesterday
You
we
look
got
at it, Lubie, and tell me I'm not. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yes, it does not look like Bob Dylan in any
Looks
way.
like Chinese Bob Dylan.
It looks like a ninja.
we got sandwiches from What's Up in Deerfield.
That's the place I was telling
yesterday.
Ken about. This place is
That we
great.
did a show with Antonio, who's born in Rome. But man, we got some good sandwiches. That Arthur Avenue that they put on that like kind of focaccia bread with the house-made stracciatelle and the prosciutto. Oh, that was a good
Did you
sandwich.
do the pistachio crema with that? Because that
I don't know
really
if
He
it was
does do a
makes
pistachio
There
cream
was
on
a
one of the sandwiches. I just
crema.
remember what
might
it was.
have been on that one. It was a good sandwich. Everybody was a hit of the party and all kinds of good things. We've got a busy week next week. We're going to be doing an iconic Eatery of South Florida show Monday with our friend Andy Cagnetta from Transworld on Monday at Hot Dog Heaven in Fort Lauderdale, newly purchased. Under new ownership management, but same great Chicago hot dogs. Hot Dog Heaven Monday. Tuesday, we're going to be at the Block 40 Food Hall with our friend Steve DePuzzo.
Nice.
Not only does he have the house on the river and the Atlantic Hotel up on Fort Lauderdale Beach, but he has this food hall in Hollywood that I'm eager to check out. Apparently some good food there downtown.
You
Young
can
Circle.
hear. Oh my God.
And then we've got Wednesday, we're going to be doing a doubleheader. Grandpa's breakfast and happy hour at Taverna Kima. Grandpa's Dania Beach, Taverna Kima up in Boca Raton. Thursday, Even Keel Fish Shack. Friday, right back here at Gulfstream Park. We are kicking off the new year, hitting the ground running and eating and eating and eating, but not so many big bites.
The board's going, so
That's it.
that's why you
The
can
board is going. We got a new board
hear. It'll
ordered.
be in today.
Technically, we're going to be getting ourselves in shape for the new year
Slow
as well.
upgrades.
Physically, it's pretty simple.
Happy New Year, everybody.
That's it.
We'll
All
see
right,
you
everybody.
Monday.
Have a
great
good one.
weekend.
Enjoy every sandwich.